Hey everybody, 2015 is winding down. I am very happy and grateful to say that my running resolution for 2015 is complete. All 300 milers are done, injury-free for years. Got all three of them done this year wearing the Xero sandals. And at least as important, I hit the 5-year anniversary of fueling exclusively on plant-based foods, zero meat, eggs, or dairy, and feeling fantastic. More on that later. Back in January, Trail Runner magazine did an online article about their readers' 2015 running resolutions, and mine was included in there. So I felt really, put a little extra pressure on myself to accomplish that goal. I had calculated the odds at about less than 15% of being able to enter and complete 3 consecutive 100 milers. In the process of doing this, of course, I found out that 300 milers is really no big deal. Lots of people are doing way more than that. So the hobby keeps one humble. It's been really neat to see that a lot of the ideas I'm using are working. The first 100 miler this year was the C&O 100. And it was actually a repeat of the first 100 miler I had done there the year before. So 4 for 4 at the 100 mile distance. This year's weather was a challenge. We had colder than expected weather and a lot of rain, much higher dropout rate. So I was very pleased to finish faster than the year prior. I turned 53 in August, so the September inaugural Hennepin 100 had me competing as a 53-year-old, and it went really well. The weather was perfect. I was able to complete the Hennepin 100 far faster than the other 2 100 milers this year. Fortunately, after running 100 miles, I was still coherent enough to answer some questions. The TV reporter from the Quad City News asked quite a few questions. Her story ended up being called "Ohio Man Runs Quad City Ultramarathon Without Shoes." Not really true, but a clever title. The third 100 miler this year was the November 2nd running of the Tunnel Hill 100. It was pretty cold out there, although it finished relatively warm and sunny. Reasonable time, had more than 2 hours to spare, and felt pretty good afterwards. By doing virtually all of my running this year in Xero sandals, and by sleeping in a tent or our minivan before the runs, got all this done on really a shoestring budget with minimal impact on the family life. For one of the races, my kids didn't even know I was getting ready to go out of town. So running 100-mile races sort of became just like no big deal. So getting back to the food side of the equation, I continue to tinker with that, trying to improve it. It's a constant challenge to eat lower fat, more organic, try different foods, mix them up in different ways. But overall, I would have to say that absolutely nothing would be a better long-term care program than a mostly whole foods, 100% plant-based diet. The more organic, the better, and preferably lower in fat for most people. I would go so far as to say that moderation, when it comes to food, is a dangerous concept. You cannot eat too healthy, and there's absolutely no reason to only moderately consume foods that are not good for you. About 11 years ago, when I was an overweight guy with cancer, never would have guessed that in 2015 I'd be running around town barefoot, going to do 100-mile races and sort of preaching about being an herbivore. But this stuff works.